Wonderful. Namaskaram. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the third conversation in the series of conversations with Varsha Sardaji, who is the founder of Vagyajnikulam. Are the audio levels okay? Namaskaram, Soumyaji. Namaskaram. I see Shiva Kameshwari temple logged in. Thank you, Soumyaji, for the confirmation. This is the first time I'm seeing Shiva Kameshwari temple among us. Is this a temple account? Like a real temple? Hari Om. Okay, maybe I'll get details of you later and check with you. Namaskaram. Welcome. Oh, it's a temple account. May I invite you? The weather is quite bonkers. I guess it's the after effects of or the ongoing effects of the cyclone somewhere. But the weather here is bonkers. So we might have a botchy internet connection. Samavedula, Pandit Samavedula. All right. I'll have a conversation later on with you, Panditji. We'll get ahead with this conversation now. Welcome to the third in the. All right, let me start from the beginning. And we have Ritika ji and Mandarji and Varsha ji are here already, and Soumya ji and Shivakameshwari temple accounts are here. All right. So Namaskaram. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the third conversation in our series of conversations with Dr. Varsha of Vagyajnikulam. She's an eminent Sanskrit scholar, and we have had two conversations before. Doing a quick recap, in the first session, we had an overview of Balanam Samskrita Shikshanam Kimartham, which means why is it important to impart Sanskrit knowledge to young children, especially beginning young, and we looked at the kind of impact it has, the importance of Sanskrit syntax and how it is different from other languages, and how it affects the thought process and how it impacts the growth of a child. And in the second session, continuing from what we have discussed in the first talk, we looked at various references. The title of the second talk was Samskrita Sahitye Bala Vishwam, like how various descriptions of upbringing of children throughout various Sanskrit texts, be it Puranas, Upanishads, and Kavyas. We looked at multiple such references. And the title for today's session is Parayanasya Mahatvam. And Varshaji is going to take us through in this series of conversations. The next step is the importance of Parayana. We'll look at what Parayana is, and we have a series of pointers that Varshaji has prepared, where we again have multiple deep dives into concepts of Sanskrit and Sanskrit granthas and Sanskrit, and along with references from Natya Shastra, Ashtadhyayi, and many other texts. So again, it's a pleasure to have Varshaji among us, and I hope you guys are all enjoying these conversations, and I'm sure many of you are going from the comments that we've been getting so far. So let me invite Varshaji on screen. For those who are new on Crowdcast, the box to your right is the chat box. If you want to ask Varshaji or I any questions, you can type it there or in the ask a question section. Welcome Varshaji. Namo Namaha. Shubha Sayam. Sarvam Kushalam. Namo Namaha. Bhavatyaः वाणी न श्रूयते? इदानीं श्रूयते सर्वं योग्यं.
नमो नमः.
नमस्ते.
सम्यक्.
अस्तु, आरभ्यताम्.
योग्यं. भवता एव आरब्धव्यं वस्तुतः.
किञ्चित् उक्तं, किम् इतः पूर्वं किं जातम्, इतः पर्यन्तं किं जातं, किं कृतवन्तः, किं दृष्टवन्तः इति. अद्य किं भवति इदानीम्.
एवं. पारायणम् इति अस्माकं महती प्राचीना परम्परा अस्ति. गृहे गृहे पारायणं कुर्वन्तः जनाः, मातृभाषासु अपि पारायणं क्रियते, संस्कृते अपि पारायणं क्रियते.
तत्तु भवति एव.
अधिकाधिकं पुण्यार्जनं, पापपुण्यस्य तत्र सम्बन्धः योज्यते सर्वदापि. वस्तुतः पापं तथा च पुण्यम् इति वैज्ञानिकदृष्ट्या किं स्यात् इत्यपि संशोधनं वैज्ञानिकाः कुर्वन्ति. यद् वास्तविकं ऊर्जारूपं किं स्यात् पुण्यस्य अथवा पापस्य ऊर्जारूपं किं स्यात् इति। तर्हि पारायणेन पारायणं नाम किम् इति यदि व्याख्यां पश्यामः तस्य, तर्हि परम् अयनम् इति पितृपरायणः अस्ति एषः अध्ययनपरायणः अस्ति इति उच्यते।
सत्यं सत्यं
एषः संस्कृतपरायणः अस्ति, नाम अतीव तत्परः तम् अनुसर्तुम् इति। नाम पितरम् अतीव तत्परतया अनुसरति, तं परितः एव तिष्ठति इति परायणत्वं जीवति। तर्हि पितृपरायणः अस्ति, संस्कृतपरायणः अस्ति, किं शास्त्रपरायणः अस्ति। एकं किमपि शास्त्रं स्वीकृत्य पूर्णतया तत्रैव निमग्नः अस्ति, अयनं करोति, पुनः पुनः चक्रे तत्र एव परिभ्रमणं करोति। अयनम् इति
सत्यम्। एतत् पदं परम् अयनं तत्र वा तत्र तस्य
इति गतिः,
गतिः खलु तत्र गमनं गतिः इति अयनम् इति वातायनं पश्यामः। वातायनम् इत्युक्ते यतः वातः आगच्छति, दक्षिणायनम् उत्तरायणम् इति अपि वदामः। तर्हि गमनं गतिः इति अत्र प्रयोगे अयनम् इत्यस्य पदस्य विनियोगः भवति। परम् इति इत्यर्थे तस्मिन् विषये
परम् इत्यस्य अर्थः परम् अयनं नाम किञ्चित् गोलाकारार्थः तस्य परितः इति, परितः इति अर्थेन अथवा अग्रतः इति अर्थेन, नाम अग्रे अयनम् इति। ततः तद्धितं पारायणम्।
सर्वे अवगम अत्रापि जनाः सन्ति एव, अद्य न्यूनतराः जनाः सन्ति, परन्तु सन्ति एव अत्र। सर्वे अवगच्छन्ति इति मन्ये। यदि नावगच्छन्ति कृपया अत्र चैट बॉक्स मध्ये लिखन्तु। I'll say it in English also. I hope everybody is understanding this. If there are any specific questions, please type it out in chat. So भवती वदति वा महोदय या अहं वदामि वा?
कथम्?
अस्तु आङ्ग्लभाषायामपि पुनः एकवारं।
Ayanam means progressing or furthering to forward. So again and again, if you are doing furthering forward or coming in front, and again repetitively you are coming in front, then you are parayanam. You are means parayanam you are doing, and it's tadhita means from that noun we are creating another noun, that is parayanam. So which is done again and again. From that whatever is prakriya is created, whatever activity is created, that is called as parayanam.
Interesting.
So Parayanam has that repetitive repetitions. So again and again, by complete reading, if you started from the beginning and complete, then again start and then complete, then it is Parayanam. If you half of it, if you are reciting, then it's not Parayanam. That's why for Parayanam, the definite days are decided. Correct. Then time is decided. How much will you read? That is also decided.
Satyam.
And everywhere, every grantha has given that. They have described it. For Bhagavata Parayanam, they have given 7 days, and how much will you read for days?
Exactly.
So everything is defined, and that by that time itself, by that speed itself, you are completing the text. And again, you are starting from the beginning. So this, if you started from the beginning and then again complete, then itself it becomes Parayanam. Okay. So Pathanam and Parayanam are totally different. Pathanam is reciting. So reciting, you decide the part of grantha, text, and that much itself you can recite. Dvadasha Adhyayaha, Chaturdasha Adhyayaha, Bhagavad Gitayaha. But if you do Parayanam, you will have to complete the text, and again you will have to start from the beginning and then complete. So this is importance of Parayanam. That's why Tadhita Rupam has been derived from Param Ayanam, Parayanam, that Parayanam. So
तत्र शास्त्रपरायणः एकः तत्र नो चेत् मातृपरायणः पितृपरायणः तत्र कथं तस्य अर्थः भवितुम् अर्हति?
नाम अतीव आधीनः इति तस्य परम् एव सः सर्वमपि चिन्तयति।
Hmm.
नाम पितृपरायणः अस्ति चेत् सः अतीव तत्परः पितुः वचनं श्रोतुं, पितुः आज्ञां पालयितुं, पितुः कृते किमपि कर्तुं, यत् किमपि सः साधयति तत् सर्वं पितुः पुरतः पितरं पुरतः निधाय साधयति इति पितृपरायणः। शास्त्रपरायणः शास्त्रं मनसि निधाय एव आचरति, निरन्तरं शास्त्राध्ययनम् एव करोति।
सत्यं। तस्मिन् पदे अपि तत्परः इत्यस्य पदे अपि परः इत्यस्य पदस्य तत्र उपयोगः क्रियते। तत्र परः एतत् अनेन योजयित्वा परायणः इति अस्तु।
एवमुच्यते यत् अतीव तत्परः एषः बालः इति। नाम किं, यद्यत् पुरतः दृश्यते तत् अनुक्षणम् अवगत्य तत्र संलग्नः भवति।
सुन्दरं।
नाम अहं मम स्मरामि बाल्ये यदा अस्माकम् आचार्याः भागवतगुरुवर्याः एकदा तस्य भोजनं समाप्तम्, अहं परिवेशयन्ती आसम्। शिबिरं चलति स्म किमपि, अनन्तरं शिबिरं समाप्त अहं परिवेशयन्ती आसम्, सः तस्य समाप्तं भोजनम्, अहं तत्र स्थिता आसम्। अनन्तरं सः अन्यमार्गेण हस्तं प्रक्षालयितुं गतः। इदानीं यत्र हस्तं प्रक्षालयति तत्र द्रोणी तथा च किमपि पात्रं स्थापितम् आसीत्। सः कथं वा प्रक्षालयेत् इति मम चिन्ता सम्पन्ना, नाम समुत्पन्ना। अहम् अन्य द्वारेण गत्वा तत्र पात्रं हस्ते स्वीकृत्य जलं दत्तवती तस्मै हस्ते। तर्हि सः अतीव तत्परः एषः बालः इति तत् क्षणे एव मया ज्ञातं तत्परत्वं नाम किम् इति। पुरतः यत् आवश्यकम् इति दृश्यते तत् अनुक्षणं कर्तुम् उपायं चिन्तयति इति तत्परः जनः। तत् नाम दट् एण्ड् परः इति अतीव किमिति उपस्थितः इति। तत्परः तदर्थम् इति साक्षात् उपस्थितः अस्ति इति तत्परः। तर्हि तत्पराः बालाः अतीव प्रियाः भवन्ति सर्वेषामपि।
सत्यम्, अवश्यम्
अनुभवः अस्ति। तर्हि बालाः यत् पश्यन्ति तत् सम्यक्तया तत्र निमग्नैः भूत्वा अवगच्छन्तु इति कृत्वा बालाः तत्पराः भवन्तु इति वदन्ति। तर्हि सः एव परशब्दः अत्र अस्ति पारायणे। यदा पारायणं भवति तदा सम्पूर्णतया तस्मिन् ग्रन्थे एव निमग्नैः वयं भवामः। We are engrossed with that text and we are thinking of nothing else. So this state of mind is expected in this parayana. So by parayanam, if we see that in our tradition, why importance is given to parayanam, we'll see what happens actually when we do the parayanam. तदर्थं वयं ग्रन्थस्य व्याख्याम् अवगच्छामः। भारतीय ग्रन्थः नाम किम्? What is meant by ग्रन्थ? ग्रन्थिः इति not. So not, it is tied up. So physically it is tied up, that's why it is grantha. Or topics are tied up very scholarly, then it is grantha. So there are two meanings. Physically it is tied up, the bunch of pages, and topic which is very elaborative, and it is tied up in very beautiful knots. Just in capsule, some bank of knowledge is provided, then it is called as grantha. So
I've never found this connection there between granthi, which is a knot, and grantha. That's very interesting.
So grathayati iti grantha. So grathayati is you are tying it together.
Okay.
So tying together is grathayati.
Grathanam is okay.
Grathanam. And when you grathayati, again you tie up and then you make grantha.
Okay.
So subject is also tied up.
Yeah, it works in both those cases.
Yes.
The tying up of physically tying up the papers together, binding it, or bringing the topics together and binding it into a subject.
We have one-pages granthas also.
Oh,
so why do we call them one grantha? Why do we call them grantha then? Right? So they are not physically tied up. Still on one page they can come and they are grantha. See, if we say Sanskrit Samhita is very small. Ashtadhyayi is very small text. Artha Sangraha, very small text.
Hmm.
Because translations are there, Tika is there, that's why it becomes big,
Satyam.
as we see in the library.
Yeah.
But if we see that original text is very small,
Hmm.
it is like a capsule.
Hmm.
Very big bank of knowledge is accumulated in very small form, and which is too logical and means adoptable,
Hmm.
easily adoptable system is set up there,
Hmm.
and then it becomes grantha. So
Interesting.
Tarka Sangraha is also like that. Very small pages, means in 3 pages I had written Tarka Sangraham when I was reading it every morning. I used to read. So
Okay.
in 3 pages I wrote it,
Okay.
and it was Tarka Sangraham, and it was very important text
Hmm.
grantha for me.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then I realized that Indian texts, Sanskrit texts, are very small.
Hmm.
Practically big, many 200, then 100, and then 1000 pages text is grantha.
Hmm.
This concept is European Western concept.
Hmm.
There everything is elaborated, and then pages are brought together, and then big text is developed.
Hmm.
And that text is if we see that same perception is not there in Indian text.
Hmm.
Your text's value is most important.
Hmm.
How many pages have you written is not important.
Hmm.
You have written 2 pages, still
Hmm.
it is grantha.
Hmm.
You have written 3 pages, it is grantha.
Hmm.
Means if we see Artha Shastram is very small text.
Hmm.
Because of translations and because of
And
some
Vyakhyaha,
commentary.
Satyam.
Any question? Any
No,
problem?
no, no. I was just saying Vyakhyaha.
Oh, Vyakhya.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because
So
of that. Huh.
because of elaborations and tikas, those texts are looking very big.
Hmm.
Otherwise, original text was very small.
Correct.
And if we see Bhagavatam, and then original texts are what very 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 compact,
Hmm.
and still they have shloka sankhya, very big shloka sankhya,
Hmm.
because story is there and it
Hmm.
goes on. So
Hmm.
for Ramayanam, Bhagavatam, Mahabharatam.
Hmm.
Mahabharatam is originated from Jaya Grantha.
Hmm.
So Jaya was very big text.
Hmm.
So all these texts having very long, big narrations and stories, and a lot of information was provided. That's why the shlokas were there.
Hmm.
But if we compare that those informations, we decide today to give it in today's perception, then it will become that they will have 10 or 20 volumes
Hmm.
altogether. This will
Hmm.
happen with us. Means this is natural in
Hmm.
these days. Elaboration is thought of that this is grantha.
Hmm.
And ancient texts, what is that? There your capsule is most important.
Hmm.
Your small zest, your capability of understanding knowledge bank in very small
Correct.
paragraphs and words
True.
is most
Yeah.
important. That's
Yeah.
why Sutra Vangmayam has come up, and
Absolutely.
most of the texts are in sutras,
Yeah.
and most of the texts are in shlokas, then karikas. So what is meant by grantha is you are supposed to tie it very beautifully in a
Hmm.
gist, in
Hmm.
compact manner, and
Hmm.
you're not supposed to waste time of reader.
Correct. And there is, of course, I'm sure you know, for our listeners, there is this very famous quote that Ardhamatra Laghavena Putrotsaham Manyante Pandita. So
Hmm.
even with if they can cut down whatever they're trying to say by half a syllable,
Matra.
yeah, half a syllable, they can shorten it. They feel as elated as they had a child of their own. so yeah, the focus there was on how to convey something in as crisp a manner and as short, concise manner as possible. True.
Yes,
And even that is so potent in its so profound in its meaning, as a
correct.
and is can definitely be given the title of a grantha and not just bulky texts which are paperweights.
So if you create bulky text, might be that our ancient and means those will laugh on us that you're making bulky text, and what is this? This is the your style of making grantha. What is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So So today we have forgotten that art of making this type of granthas, and we don't pay attention. We think that writing lot many pages and giving lot many information is making grantha.
Yeah.
So this is Western influence, and it's our responsibility that we should revive that parampara. That what is grantha. Now, if we understand this grantha, then parayanam of that grantha becomes very, very important. Why? Because grantha works as if it is a software. For example, at a time, all the adhyayas are operating and conveying some of the meaning. At a time, they are operating. They are interlinked. So that's why we are supposed to see the examples. If narrative stories are there, if Purana is there, and you're reading Vishnu Purana, and then stories are there, still when you go to a next story, you're supposed to refer previous story. This happens with Panchatantra also.
Yes, it does. There's a story in a story.
We are supposed to go 2-3 stories back.
Yes.
And again, we are supposed to refer from there, and again we go to next story.
True.
Right. So this happens with every person with all our granthas. Why? Because grantha is operating with you as a whole. It's not giving you any sequence. It's not giving you that first 10 pages are finished and you have finished them. And now next 10 pages. Every time you're supposed to go back, refer first 2 pages, again come further, refer last 10 pages, then again come further. Again, you are supposed to do when you want to understand. So this for that we'll see the example of Natya Shastram. There was time when all the classical dancers used to do Parayanam of Natya Shastram also.
Oh, wow.
Means each and every person used to do Parayanam of his text, which from where he has acquired knowledge.
Bharata Munis.
And he used to update himself by Parayanam itself.
Okay.
So from Natya Shastra, I'll show the system to all our audiences that how it has been created. Now I'll give you some example. I've written this and I'll show this, and we cannot screen share. That's why I have made this.
Oh, you're on a mobile. Okay. One thing we can do is if you can take a photo of it, I can add it in later when we put it on YouTube. I can add it as an image. But yeah, for now, you can. Or now also, Mahoday, if you can take a picture of that paper and send it to me on WhatsApp, I can definitely share it right away. But up to you, whatever you feel is most simplest now.
So, just now we'll send immediately.
Okay, sure.
Until that, yes, we have 2-3 there. So
okay, even better. If you can,
now,
yes, please.
Which is readable, that will take, and then another photograph.
Perfect. If you can, focus on the paper so that the letters are clear, and send it to me on WhatsApp, I'll share it right away.
Yes. So now, first we'll take Ashtadhyayi. So there some less references are taken. So it is the sutras are there. That's why.
Sure.
Now I'll show this.
Yes.
But there are various adhyayas, and these numbers are showing. Can you? Is
yes,
it visible?
They are visible. They are visible clearly.
So now this is there that 1137.
तत् न दृश्यते बहु किञ्चित् वाम पार्श्वं नयतु.
एवं क्षम्यतां.
समस्या नास्ति. तत्र किं भूवादयो धातवः इति दृश्यते.
सत्यम्.
एकं कार्यं करोमि. एकं निमेषं क्षम्यताम्. I could have done this. Oh yes. Perfect. Sorry. Yeah, I should have thought of this. Yes.
इदानीं पठितुं
सर्वं दृश्यते एकवारमेव.
तर्हि इदानीं 1137 131 144 I'll explain that what is stated here.
Sure.
So they are saying bhuvadayo dhatavaha in 131. Okay.
Yes.
This is first adhyaya, tritiya pada, and first sutram it is.
Yes.
And if it is the prathama sutram, they are telling that which are dhatus. Who are dhatus? Who are basic roots?
Correct.
So they have given the sutram for bhuvadayo dhatavaha.
Correct. If
we go further to 1136, 37, there they have given Swaradi Nipatam Avyayam. They have given definition of Avyayam.
Can you slightly move it to the left, Mahodaya? To your left? To your left?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
thank you. So Swaradi Nipatam Avyayam. So here they have given definition of Avyayam. So now we see the number 131. They are explaining about Dhatu.
Yes.
And 1137, they are explaining about Avyayam.
Correct.
So without understanding Padam, we cannot understand Dhatu also,
Yes.
and we cannot understand Avyayam also.
Yes.
Okay. And where is Padam? Suptingantam Padam, it is 1414.
Yes.
Okay. So totally fourth pada is there. So till you don't read fourth pada, you cannot understand these sutras.
True.
Right? So
Yes.
now what is Suptingantam? That is the problem that is told in fourth adhyaya. Suauja Samutshas. They are saying Sup is what? Suauja Samutshas, Tabhyambis, Nebhyambas, Nasibhyambas, Nasosam, Neo Sup. So this Sup, Swaujastam, that sutram is given in fourth adhyaya, 412.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without that reference, we cannot understand what is Sup. And without understanding Bhuvadayo Dhatavaha, we cannot understand Tingantam.
Yes.
So all are interlinked.
Yes, absolutely.
Once we understand Padam, we can go to Karakam. That is 1/4/23.
Yes.
Right? And that is in first adhyaya.
Yes.
Karaki, Dhruvamapaya Padhanam, Bhitrarthanam Bhayahetu, like that it goes on.
Yeah.
Right? So in first adhyaya itself, if you want to understand Karake, that it is Karake Sutram actually. So if you want to understand, you'll have to understand what is Padam, what is Dhatu, what is Avyayam, and what is Pratyaya. And Pratyaya is given in third adhyaya. 311. Pratyaya, Parascha. Sutras go like.
Okay.
Now you tell me, if we go, now I'll keep it down. Okay?
Yes, please.
Is it, no? Yes. Now, if we go sequentially, we cannot understand anything. If we understand that what is linked with what, then we can get the meaning.
Correct.
So how to get these links?
Yeah.
By reading further, then go back again, read, go back, again read. Or otherwise, you complete it once, again you complete it once, again you complete it once.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned in the beginning, the entire Grantha is talking to you. It's not that first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all the adhyayas are operating at a time.
Yes.
They are not in sequence.
Yes.
What is given in sequence? That is information.
Yes.
This is not information. This is vibrant knowledge. It is provided to you. You are going towards Shabda Siddhi. Right? You are defining word by all these rules. So all the adhyayas are operating at a time.
Yes.
So some of the other adhyaya is linked to each other and you are supposed to understand.
Absolutely.
Right? So now we'll see.
One thing that comes to mind, Mahodaya, is because I had this this background of working with all these programming languages and coding. One thing that this brings that to mind, like when in Ashtadhyayi, when something is declared in the beginning, but it's not like all the details of it is not given right away, but it's defined later on. So in programming languages, when you write a piece of code also in a complete program, same thing happens. You define something and declare that take this as a black box, take this for granted. That routine, that the exact details of how it functions, what it contains, is mentioned later on somewhere else. But first you declare that these are the things that you're going to work with, and then make them function, use them already, like create parameters between them, and then somewhere else define how those things work and how, and the burden of having to expand upon them is later on in the program. So that similarity somehow comes forth in this process itself. So that was one interesting point that I wanted to mention. Maybe I'll give examples of how it is done and drawing parallels later on as graphics. But yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Uday, that you have given this reference. That from Paninian grammar itself, our first computer was derived, 1955, right? Because of that software itself, Means Paninian's grammar itself, they got the idea of software.
Okay.
And first computer was named as Panini.
Well, okay. Okay.
Yes,
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard these claims for sure, but I was never really sure how
no,
verifiable they
it's
were. But very
yes.
interesting. Okay, I think this is true. That first, I
Ha,
recollect this faintly.
yes, yes.
Very
This
interesting.
information is confirmed by Dr. Bhatgar, who has made Parama computer, Param
Oh,
computer.
Param. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Dr. Bhatgar is, yes, he's very
Oh,
interested in Sanskrit and he's always
oh,
connected with us. So
interesting.
he has told us that whatever software computer is following, it is all from Paninian grammar.
Hmm.
So first idea has been taken from there itself.
Of course. Yeah. This text, like there is no doubt for sure that this text predates all these other new age manifestations by a
Yes,
far shot. It's like
yes,
much before all of this
yes.
new
It
stuff
is
came
from
along.
3rd century BC or 2nd
Hmm.
century BC. It is not
Hmm.
fixed. Means
Yeah,
people are
of course.
fighting.
As they always do. Yeah.
Yes. So we have taken texts which are from BC itself. Means
Hmm.
before Christ. Means
Hmm.
the oldest text we have referred. Means
Hmm.
now Natya Shastra is oldest. It's 4th century BC. It was ready. The text was
Hmm.
intact.
Hmm.
Today, whatever text we get of Natya Shastra, it was intact in 4th century BC.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
Right.
Amazing.
So we have taken most ancient texts by means where no other influence is there.
Hmm.
So now about Ashtadhyayi, about Vyakarana Shastram, it is very famous that this works as a software.
Hmm.
But what about other granthas?
Hmm.
So other granthas are also operating like that.
Hmm.
You
If you
might
want
have,
me to, yeah, share my screen, I'll
yes,
share it
please,
right away.
please
Yes.
share. I'll explain Natya Shastram also
Cool.
in very small time.
Sure. Absolutely no problem.
Yes.
Please let me know if this is correct.
Now
I got
I
only one
huh, it's
1 second.
it's looking very small.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
Is this
Now
okay
it
now
is
there?
okay.
It's not
Yes, yes,
exactly flat, but I hope this
huh,
is visible clearly.
yes, yes. Very
Yeah.
nice. Now here also what happens is in 4th Adhyaya of Natya Shastra they have given Tandava Vidhi
Hmm.
and Angahara Lakshanam.
Hmm.
First column if we see.
Hmm.
Now this Tandava Vidhi is dependent on 10th Adhyaya that is called as Chari Vidhanam.
Hmm. Okay.
Where basic footsteps are recommended, they are defined.
Okay.
10th Adhyaya. Okay,
Right.
it is given.
Hmm.
Their Vyayama Vidhanam is also given, Anga Saushthavam is also given. So
Okay.
you are supposed to start from 10th Adhyaya first.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you learn small charis first, and
Huh.
then you are capable to understand what they are talking about. Then
Hmm.
Mandala Vidhanam is there, that is 11th Adhyaya,
Right.
Ekadash Adhyaya. There Mandalani means all the combinations of charis are explained.
Mm-hmm.
And once we are expert in that, then we can follow Angaharas in 4th Adhyaya. Then we
Okay.
can go to Tandavam.
Okay.
Right. And
Interesting.
then and all these are dependent on Bhavya Vyanjanam, Upanga Vidhanam. This 8th Adhyaya, there all the
Okay.
Hasta Mudras are explained.
Okay.
So without Hasta Mudras, you cannot do any single chari or any single Mandala Vidhanam because
Okay.
Nritya Hastas are there.
Hmm.
So simultaneously, you are supposed to study 8th Adhyaya also.
Hmm.
Then 10th Adhyaya also you are supposed to practice.
Hmm.
And then you are supposed to adopt 11th Adhyaya also. Then
Hmm.
it is possible to understand 4th Adhyaya.
Fourth. Very interesting.
Yes, and simultaneously we go for Angabhinaya,
Hmm.
where your
Yes,
it's
Angabhi.
Gati Prachar, the 12th Adhyaya Gati Prachara means how will you walk, and all types of gatis are told.
Interesting.
So you are supposed to understand 12th Adhyaya also, 9th Adhyaya also, and 7th Bhava Vyanjanam also.
Hmm.
Now we don't understand how can we complete all these adhyayas all together.
Hmm.
So there was definite method of Parayanam.
Hmm.
And there was because of that Parayanam, you used to link all these things all together,
Hmm.
and you were guided. You were guided to link all these things, and you were adopting the knowledge bank.
Hmm.
Lastly, 31st Adhyaya is Taladhyaya.
Okay.
Their talam, which is basic need of a dance.
The rhythm of.
Yes, it is on 31st. Total 37 adhyayas there in Natya Shastra.
Okay.
31st adhyaya is telling Taladhyaya.
Huh.
Then Dasharupakani are there. That's the 18th adhyaya. There Natakam, how Natakam is performed, Prakaranam is performed, is informed. And Chanda Vidhanam, which where we means all the shlokas are defined, verses are defined. That is given in 14th adhyaya.
Okay.
So we don't go
Crazy.
sequentially here. If we go sequentially, what will happen that we cannot adopt Tandava directly. We cannot adopt Bhava Vyanjanam directly without
Right.
understanding Angabhinaya means mudras.
Absolutely.
We cannot adopt mudras without understanding its usage in Bhava. We cannot adopt this Chari Vidhanam without understanding its application. So you go further, come back, again learn, again execute, again learn, again execute. This goes on, and simultaneously you are repeating your text 100 times to its completion.
Very interesting.
Right? So
Amazing.
this, now we'll keep this aside.
Okay.
Now this is one example we have understood.
Okay.
Now we'll take example of Tarka Sangraha.
Okay.
In Tarka Sangraha.
1 second, Varshaji. Before we move ahead from Natya Shastra, Jayashri ji asks, what is the logic behind the numbering if it's not sequential? Why is it in that sequence? If it's not, if it's not one after the other, why are the numbers given like that? Is what she's asking.
See, I feel that these numbers are according to.
Or rather, how is it arranged? Yeah, that is that she's saying. She's updated the answer as how is it arranged? Is there a set sequence as to first this chapter, second this chapter? What is if the later chapters have information which is necessary to understand previous chapters?
Yes.
What was the reason for the arrangement of chapters in such a way? Is what
that is for our cognition,
Yeah.
Without reference, no one can do any akalanam or
Yes.
cognition is impossible without reference.
Yes.
So Bharata tells one story.
If I can one also add. Okay, sorry, you were continuing that answer.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead. Sorry.
Bharata tells one story that when he recollected Tandava, he went to Tandu and Tandu Rishi, he gave Tandava. And how it was recollected, Bharata gives his experience. And he narrates very nice story. And he explains the importance of Natyam, why Natyam is important in our life. He creates references and he makes us understand everything. If references are not given, then we won't understand. If bluntly he goes directly to Chari Vidhanam, no one will learn that.
Yes.
So it needs some reference, and those references are built up by these sequence.
Absolutely. Yes. And the same format is seen in Yoga Sutras also. So in the beginning itself, Patanjali says, okay, this is what yoga is, and these 5 states are what they are. But then later on goes to explain further that these states contain multiple other substates, and this is what the actual meaning of that state is. I don't want to get too technical. Okay, yes, Jayashri ji replied, understood, perfect. So there is a sequence of storytelling or presentation of information, but technical details are later elaborated upon at the end, which help us get deeper.
Correct. So as we have seen the role of amygdala, without reference, the cognition is not possible. If amygdala is connected to your means it's an emotional part of brain. If it's not participating, then you will not get interest. If you want to create interest, you have to have some reference. If you don't have reference, then you will leave that text and go away. What is happening with what is happening with all the medical students? They don't have any reference. They don't know that why should I learn this.
Okay.
They only know that I want to treat some patient. That's why I want to read this. That's why they keep emphasizing their knowledge information collection, and the study has become too heavy and boring and lengthy, and
Hmm.
all are means I have seen many medical students, they are crying,
Hmm.
practically they are suffering.
Hmm.
Why does this happen with modern education system?
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
happens because without reference they are not activating our amygdala, which is very dominant part of our limbic system,
Hmm.
which is not the without reference you don't remember anything, you don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
All the references connect this text to your life,
Hmm.
and then you become tatpara.
Oh, wonderfully connected
Yes.
by. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
And that's why Parayanam is very important. And through Parayanam, with references,
Hmm.
all the brain functions are intact, activated, and you are ready to. Means your readiness is also taken responsibility, taken. Um, Means your readiness is the responsibility is taken by your text.
Hmm.
Means text itself is
It's
like that,
yeah.
that you will get interest itself.
Hmm.
You will not lose your interest at all if you do
Hmm.
some Parayanam with
Hmm.
understanding.
Makes sense.
So I feel so proud, and uh, I'm so humble in front of all these rishis, how they have written this, and
Yeah.
they have given us, they have given a system of living these granthas. And
This is a constant thing for me every day. I look at this text. I even not. I mean, this granthas. If I look at it, I. This is a constant braingasm that keeps happening on to me on a regular basis because to teachers, I'm sure teachers all across, Sanskrit teachers especially, have this. It's a privilege and a problem at the same time. It's so you look at these texts and just there's nothing else to do but just gape in amazement at these texts. Just I can totally relate to this.
yes.
Yeah.
So this is called as akanksha. So
Hmm.
anywhere you will not, this grantha will not let you leave your akanksha.
Okay.
You'll always be with akanksha.
Hmm.
Means your urge to know.
Hmm.
Akanksha is your urge to know.
Hmm.
If your urge to know is present, then your uh, the will work.
Hmm.
So as we saw the definition, the dharanavati medha.
Huh.
So medha is always alert, because what meaning you have gone through previously, you are always remembering by reference, and you're understanding further. So medha is always intact.
Hmm.
So
Amazing.
we take an example of Tarka Sangraha, where the definition of uh, Anubhava is given.
Hmm.
Smruti bhinnam jnanam anubhava.
Okay.
Say. Hmm?
1 second, Varshaji. Is this
Yes.
Mandarji? Is it? Yeah, Mandarji shared one more folder with
No,
me. File.
there is no sheet. Hello, there is
Okay.
no sheet.
Yes. Oh, there's
Ha,
no sheet for this. Okay.
it is there.
Something was shared. There was another image that was shared. No, this is for not.
Ha,
This is for
it is of Vyakaranam.
Ashtadhyayi
It is
only.
of
Ashtadhyayi.
Vyakaranam to share
Yeah.
later on. Ha.
Okay.
About Tarka Sangraha, it is not there.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. Ha. So there only one example we'll see,
Mhm.
that they give example of Anubhavaha, and
Mhm.
Anubhava is divided into Yathartha and Ayathartha. And
Okay.
Yathartha Jnanam is called as Prama.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
if you are eager to understand Prama, you will have to understand what is Yathartha and Ayathartha Anubhava.
Mhm.
And if you want to understand what is Yathartha, what is Ayathartha, means what is meaningful and what is without meaning,
Mhm.
then you will have to understand definition of Anubhava.
Interesting.
So you go back also, and once you go back, immediately you want to go further to know. So this
Yes.
is your life, You live that
Hmm.
grantha like this.
Hmm. It builds that curiosity. Doesn't reveal everything at once, but then then gives back reference again. Interesting. So the grantha is itself making you do the. It's imposing that parayanam on you at one level and
Yes,
facilitating you in doing that
yes.
parayanam.
So that grantha is vibrant, alive gadget which is making you one software.
Hmm.
It's vibrant, lively gadget which
Hmm.
is operating with you, and it has special impact on you, and you yourself become like a software that you click many things at a time, and you present some idea in front. That's
Hmm.
why all the tikakaras, while writing tika, they are giving many of the references, and they write
From
down
all
that.
across the place. Yes, yes. Many times again, that is why the vyakhyas and the tikas and the tippanis go on. Sometimes it feels like they are much harder to understand than the original text itself. The original text was so simple, at least you could just think of it, just feel it, and get some meaning. But the vyakaras take reference from 100 different places to explain it. Sorry, the vyakhyas, and it gets a little complex.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
commentators, why do they write commentaries? Because what they have understood, they want to convey it.
Yes,
They're
yes.
leaving that text, and that leaving is depicted.
Hmm.
That real life is depicted. That's why
Hmm.
Tika is written.
Yeah.
So now that parampara is the sa parampara khandita asti. We
Hmm.
have broken that parampara of writing Tika,
Hmm.
and we are translating and writing elaborations.
Hmm.
So from
So can
I think last 200 years we have started this, and we are making all these granthas very big by by
yeah.
by writing translations and
Hmm.
elaborations, and
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
is very
I
very
mean
heavy.
that system of investing in that text so heavily and living it, as you said, right? Living that text, living that knowledge, that itself, the Gurukul system has been broken down. So there are no people. If there are no people who can write these, who can live it as real life experiences within them, of course there'll not be any more outpourings which are original. There'll only be elaborations, like people like me who will only end up writing more and more, or just describing it in something that can be said in one sentence in 100 more sentences. It's unfortunate. Yeah, we really should work on bringing it
So
back.
if you are presenting some idea in many sentences, then definitely you are not brave. You are not.
Yeah, no, yeah, true, true.
No, by our perception, by Indian perception.
Absolutely, absolutely, I
If
agree.
you are putting it in a perfect one sentence, then you are living that text, you're living that shastra, and you're
Yeah,
stating very big knowledge bank in very small capsule.
100%.
So this is the capability, and
Hmm.
one gets capability by parayanam, by doing this, leaving the grantha altogether.
Hmm.
And why this parayanam is referred in Adhyatmikam Jnanam is, in Adhyatma, if we see that Upanishads,
Hmm.
in Upanishads also, many things are repeated again and again they repeat,
Yeah,
and we complete it, and it happens that references keep clicking. We click the previous reference, means samanya mantra pushpam, if we see,
hmm,
then yopam pushpam veda prajavan pashuman pashuman bhavati
Bhavati.
ya evam
Yeah,
veda. You must be knowing it.
yes, yes.
Yopamayatana.
Yeah. It goes on. It's okay. I'm
Apam
reluctant to chant it.
ayatanam
Yeah,
veda
yeah.
ayatanavan bhavati.
Bhavati. Yeah,
Agner
evam veda. Yeah,
ayatanam veda
yeah.
ayatanavan bhavati, like that.
It keeps
So why?
repeating itself. The same.
Yes, yes.
The
So
padam of
why
it.
do they repeat it?
Hmm.
So this is the style of living or experiencing that vibrant experience which is given through that text.
Hmm.
Means if I understand original place of up means water, I'll understand original place of agni. If I
Hmm.
understand original place of agni, I'll understand original place of akash, like that. And you keep feeling while reciting that, and it happens that if you are doing parayanam of that text, sometimes while washing your legs, washing hands, you get that experience, that apam ayatanam. What is ayatanam of apam?
Hmm.
What is the origin of
Up.
water?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the origin of agni? What is
Okay.
origin of? Hmm?
Yeah.
So, uh,
Varshaji, your screen flipped. It's
yes, just
vertical.
for
Can
two
you
minutes.
reposition it, please?
Huh.
Yeah. And can you slightly move it to your right, like tilt it? Yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
Yes,
Yes.
sorry.
No problem.
So, in Adhyatmikam, why does this happen that Bhagavata Puranam, then Parayanam is done? So, what is Bhagavata Puranam? There are case studies, and there they are discussing that who took birth and what did he do, and because of that, which birth he took.
Mhm.
Means because of his deeds,
Hmm.
what happened with him,
Hmm.
and again in next birth, what happened with him. Again in next birth, what did he do?
Hmm.
How his wisdom operated, and
Hmm.
what kind of life he got.
Hmm.
All the case studies are there.
Nice.
Means principles are given in
In
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavatam. But okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And Srimad Bhagavatam, there all the life stories are there with all the birth cycles.
Hmm.
So for Adhyatmika Jnanam, if we do Parayanam of Bhagavatam, it clicks that who took what kind of decision, that's why what kind of life he has got.
Hmm.
It is totally interdependent that who took where, what kind of life, and who operated what in his life with whom.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everything is narrated. All the stories are going on.
Hmm.
And if you do Parayanam of Bhagavatam, it happens that you click many, many references that he did this in that birth.
Hmm.
That's why he was connected with those people, and those people came again with him here
Hmm.
in this birth, and again this happened, and
Hmm.
again they worked together, and then again they established something, and then again next life was there. But
Hmm.
like this, the stories go on, and we learn lot many things in our life, what kind of decisions we should go.
Amazing.
So Bhagavatam is, you live the principles.
Hmm.
So practically they have given examples of many lives of many rishis and many characters in ancient times,
Hmm.
and how their life was, and what kinds of lives they lived, and how they
Hmm.
got achieved moksha, and how they developed themselves throughout all the lives.
Hmm.
All these discussions are there, and
Hmm.
among these discussions it happens that every time you keep clicking that in this adhyaya that story was there, and the reference comes here.
Yeah.
Yes, and that reference goes further. So
Yes.
this same pattern is followed in Panchatantra, just to understand niti,
Hmm.
to understand this politics or niti or your wisdom, to
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
So the, the manner of making you click, making you link is
Hmm.
same.
Yeah. It becomes almost, yeah, it's so inherent within you, that knowledge that you recollect and you base your life decisions intuitively at an instant, based on, it's almost like your past experience. It becomes experiential knowledge, because the way it was delivered, it was not through some prescription or imposition, but rather as beautiful stories that you can relate to. As you said, again, you can emotionally connect with them, and it's working on that level of amygdala, and you can recollect those almost as your own life experiences and take those decisions, and you have those lessons. But those lessons did not come to you as impositions or moral lessons, or or commandments, but rather uh, as beautiful stories, that this happened here to this person, and then they were there. And these, it's just, again, as you said, right, it boggles my mind as to how rich and how vast and how diverse these texts are. And even if each of them are very short texts, there are so many of them, from Tarkashastra, and texts, as it blows my mind that texts which do not seem to be as to be immediately related with how one should conduct one's life, something as far flung from a subject as, like, for example, Rasayana Shastra, or something else, which feels disconnected from other topics. They too have life lessons. They too have these they too are complete texts of holistic learning in themselves. So it's
Yes,
not like a math text is just a math text. It's not like, but it has lessons within it which are useful in conducting uh, one's own life in general. I hope that makes sense.
yes.
Anyways, yeah,
And
thank you.
yes, this is very nicely you have added, you there, that you become ready to experience.
Hmm.
You expose yourself to all the links while doing Parayana.
Hmm.
And this Parayanam gives you, for example, if Ramayanam is read again and again, lot many things are there, they click. in third or fourth reading.
Hmm.
In fourth reading, some links will be clicked.
Yeah.
In third reading, some links will be clicked.
Yeah.
And your wisdom increases. And
Yeah.
that becomes your experience,
Yeah.
your own experience.
I'm sure this, I mean, I don't know. For me, it has been true. So every time I read Bhagavad Gita, it feels like, oh, now I understand it. But then next time I read it, I'm like, oh, this I missed last time. But now I think I understand it. And then the next time I read it, there's something else entirely. So with one's own evolution, the amount of lessons and it's quite there's nothing that, I mean, I think the best way to summarize it is just look at it in gratitude and just try to imbibe it as much as we can. Yeah.
So now I'll quote that where whatever is yathartha anubhava or what is ayathartha anubhava, to understand what is yathartha anubhava, Parayana gives you practice of understanding yathartha anubhava.
Okay.
Yes, right.
Interesting.
Means anubhava is in two types, yathartha and ayathartha.
Mm-hmm.
While doing Parayana, you'll always keep linking some certain links.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens that sometimes link is wrong, sometimes link is correct. And you're going perfectly, you are going wrong also. While Parayana, in your mind,
Okay.
the process happens in your brain.
Okay.
And every time you emotionally you're connected, you think according to your mind, and what is the state of your mind, according to that you tackle out things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it happens that every time you may go in ayathartha anubhava or you may go in yathartha anubhava.
Okay.
If you go in yathartha anubhava, then it is prama.
Mm-hmm.
And if you live in that prama, then the series of yathartha anubhava will increase day by day as you practice with getting yathartha anubhava.
Okay.
And to check that the medha is working, which is the dharanavati medha. Medha means which meaning you have taken in first place, that will be remembered till the end. That dharana shakti is called as
Medha.
medha.
Okay.
So
And what
sometimes it
if
happens.
does the Tarka Sangraha also mention what if somebody keeps investing oneself in I tried, I don't know how far I'm getting it also, but what happens if one keeps investing oneself and being identified with ayathartha anubhava? So if it's in yathartha anubhava, that state or that cognition is prama.
Yes.
And if it's in ayathartha anubhava, it is
ayathartha anubhava, they haven't given any name, but ayathartha anubhava is one type where you can mingle on. And there you have to again go to pramana nirnaya. Again you will have to analyze yourself, and again you will have to check your anubhava, and again you go in the thought process which is given in Tarka Sangraha.
Who wrote Tarka Sangraha, Varshaji? I haven't read it, so I haven't.
Annam Bhatta. It is the entrance Balanam Sukha Bodhaya Kriyate Tarka Sangraha. It's very old text, and it's very useful to enter in Nyaya Shastram.
Interesting.
Very useful. Yes. So they have given padarthas also, and they are defining them. So abhava, they have given one padartha as in Nyaya Shastram. And abhava is padartha. How will you get that experience that abhava is also a padartha? It's zero. Abhava.
Okay, for that I have to probably understand what abhava is and what padartha, what these definitions are.
Yes. Abhava is nothing.
Okay. Non-existence.
Non-existence. That is also accepted as padartha.
Okay. As substance.
Yes, it's a substance. So you practically get the experience of nothingness is really a something. Something. If nothing is there,
it's a state to it's these are experiential truths. Again, I am all knowledge that I get, I somehow try to do anvaya with the yoga shastra and what I can relate to, and how my experience of and my understanding of yoga has been. So yes, the principles seem similar. So I'm trying to fit in.
See, because of abhava itself, we could get zero.
Exactly.
Because of understanding, because of wisdom of understanding abhava, experiencing abhava, we got zero.
Yes.
And then we got the value of abhava, that is of value of zero.
Yeah. The level of the I don't, I mean, we many people just uh, claim that and understand that the invention of zero led to the flourishing of mathematics and mathematical concepts. But to get to that concept, which looks very simple, very basic, very minimal, but the thought process which led there, which I don't think many people understand the profoundness and the kind and the I don't know how to put it.
Yes. No,
How
importance is
what
given to nothingness.
exactly, like being able to even see when there was no concepts of all of these, that it's not when you start counting, it's not just about what there is but what there isn't. That even that thought process of recognizing that, and what sort of people were they and what kind of experiences they had, so that they had this sense of experience of that nothingness, that just that absolute sense of calm and nothingness, so that they can give they can put it into numbers. I think that people need to appreciate it a little more. That's all I wanted to say.
And if you have that wisdom of understanding what is abhava,
Uh-huh.
then you get the wisdom of understanding what is ayathartha.
Hmm.
What is ayathartha and what is yathartha?
Hmm.
Yatra dhumah tatra agnihi.
Hmm.
There the karya karana bhava, if you understand, then you think that somewhere I have experienced smoke without agni, and then it is okay, means that is my anubhava. And if
Hmm.
I realize that it is a yathartha anubhava,
Hmm.
then I understand that what kind of verifications I did.
Hmm.
Again verifications, the technique of verification is given, and you
Hmm.
keep doing verification. You cannot stay for a long time in a yathartha anubhava. You will have
Hmm.
to come towards brahma, because it is living with you, and
Hmm.
it is yathartha anubhava you get.
Hmm.
So it happens that because of vikaras, various vikaras, it happens that we get a yathartha anubhava,
Hmm.
and there is a technique of refining and verifying your thought process to come to yathartha anubhava.
Hmm.
And it happens in the process of parayanam most of the times, that you are interlinking, and every time you realize that this link is not perfect, this link is correct, and this link is for means leading me somewhere else, this
Hmm.
link is leading me towards some productive
Hmm.
things. And this
Hmm.
this process is going on in your mind constantly while reading.
Hmm.
When you complete the grantha, it happens that your in your memory, in your uh, hippocampus, it happens that everything is going on constantly. You get the words, you recollect the words, and you are doing mananam, and
Hmm.
constantly it happens that links are established, and you get the meanings of those links.
Hmm.
So that's why Parayanam leads you to understand that Grantha thoroughly by all the angles. So
Hmm.
you get helicopter view and then do the Parayanam.
Hmm.
If you go by sequence, then you won't get any time any helicopter view. And if you do the Parayanam, definitely it happens that you get helicopter view after
Hmm.
some time at least.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it is recommended that if you do Parayanam, you from the beginning itself you go for helicopter view. You don't mingle with the things with sequentially.
Hmm.
Go up, as we have seen that all the adhyayas all together we are looking at by
Hmm.
helicopter view, and then we
Hmm.
understand where is what is
Hmm. Hmm.
linked with.
Hmm.
So always this view is improved because of Parayanam.
Yes, and the sense of uh, wholesomeness that it brings to any study. For what again comes to mind is they when they used to teach this trigonometry in mathematics was one of my, I mean, at least for whatever maths I had hated, I found this to be the most juicy of subjects. But once they got to just this process of study, where they said, okay, take this for granted that sine 30 is so and so. I even forgot that number. That they, but why is it used, what is the significance of it? At least give me a that comprehensive picture of this is the study that we are undertaking, and this is why. Then go into the nitty-gritties of the details. Then maybe there is a motive, and there is a drive to at least memorize it, because now you have the comprehensive idea of, okay, this is where it is going to fit in the entire puzzle. But when that is not there, it's, and the same example that you gave about medical studies, and I think somebody else also mentioned that why just medicine, yes, it's there in every field, people are just giving them information in bits and pieces, but they have no context, the overall context as to how it fits in their life. And I completely can relate with this. Yes.
And means in our society, it is said that Parayanam is very wrought, and it preaches you. It is some type of preaching thing, and you keep your head aside and do Parayanam. So this is not the place. Parayanam gives you the freedom of exploration. It allows you to explore always. That's why Parayanam is very fulfilling, and we should be intact with our Parayana Parampara, and that is our wealth. We can't avoid that. Our freedom of exploration, we cannot avoid that. We cannot preach ourselves.
Absolutely.
Without meaning. So
Makes
this
sense.
one was there.
Thank you so much, Varshaji.
Yes,
you have more. Thank you so much. There are questions, and there have been a lot of comments, much more than we have usually seen. I hope you can you also see the comments there, Varshaji, on your end?
Yes.
On the mobile?
Yes.
Soumya ji and Suraya ji and Jayashri ji and Gonzalo ji and Ritika ji, all of them had something to say.
Can you read them for me, please?
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Most of them, yes, were talking about stuff and agreeing with us and giving their own insights into what we were talking about during those specific moments. But are there any questions anywhere in this? Yeah, Jayashri, just forget medical students. Imagine school kids and calculus taught. Exactly, that whole integration and differentiation, and then just they are just taught as formulae. Now you just remember this. It doesn't that entire picture, that bird's eye view, that comprehensive understanding of it. It's completely it's of paramount importance. I completely agree. Soumya ji says, in awe, totally anyone learning Sanskrit can understand about our Sanskrit sentences. And so we have Shiva Kameshwari temple account also with us live. So like Veda Parayanam, which happens daily in temples, I guess exactly that Parayana Parampara, as Varshaji said, is of, and I think it's these temples and the Gurukuls which are still keeping it up. They are the pillars of support to keep this tradition on. That despite this onslaught of many perspectives, many judgments which impose their kind of learning and looking down upon these kinds of systems of knowledge, saying that it's rote memory is inferior. It's anyways, it's not true. It's colonization at different levels happening still.
Yes. I would like to add on one thing, that in temple it must be very clear, but for all the people it is to be understood that Veda Parayanam is different and Veda Pathanam is different. Veda Parayanam is complete Veda is recited in one session, and then again it is repeated. So Veda Parayanam used to happen from means long back, from Prachina Kala, and Veda Pathanam is there. Some part is recited. That is also Veda Pathanam. So our regular text Parayanam and Veda Pathanam, what is different? What is the difference is that Veda Pathanam is operating vibrationally with us. Means sound itself is having tremendous effect on us there. And here the textual thought is operating in textual Parayanam. So there, that's why Veda Pathanam and these text Parayanam is totally different. The sound is lively sound, vibrant sound is operating, and it has very definite effect on our brain and our system.
Yes,
and,
physically, mentally, emotionally, there and energy-wise, there definitely.
Correct. And it is scientifically proven. That's why we cannot put Veda Pathanam or Veda Parayanam in the line of other texts Parayanam. So all the Parayanam, yes, Veda Parayanam, and then again, come on, text Parayanam. No, we don't do that, please. Means we
Yes.
should be very, very careful to say this, that how Veda Pathanam should be
Approached.
respected. Its place, its aura is totally different, and textual Parayanam, its aura is different.
Makes sense. And in Ask a Question section, there are two questions. Gonzalo G asks, also knowing the text by memory is related with repeating. Knowing the text by memory is, I guess the question is not clear. Gonzalo G, if you can ask that question, rephrase that question, maybe we can answer it. Soumya Ji asks, which Parayanam is suggested for kids to improve memory and cognitive ability? She's asking us to suggest a Parayanam for kids which are beneficial for improving memory and cognitive ability. Any such Parayanas?
Actually, Aditya Hridayam is very useful. And Medha Vivardhana Stotram is also there. And Bhagavad Gita works. I have that experience from many years.
Soumya Ji's kid is already going through Bhagavad Gita lessons. So he can, of course, that, I mean, all of this as like memory retention, like the ability to recollect and that improvement of memory, I guess, lies as an undercurrent for all sorts of Parayanam. But for kids in specific, as Varshaji says, Aditya Hridayam is of a lot of value. And I would also suggest probably if the kid is into like proper Sanskrit learning, maybe there is this tradition of Parayanam of Amarakosha also for the kids too, and it builds that vocabulary and the links between vocabulary in a completely intuitive way. So Amarakosha and especially Aditya Hridayam or all of those would definitely be helpful, Soumya Ji. Yes, that brings us to the end of question and answers also. Tyagarajanji says, can you give us insight on the script and also the variation of swaras and sounds in Veda Parayanam, where importance is given for both the text and variation in sounds? Have heard any variation in the swaras may lead to not the desired result, but also negative results. Just if you could throw some light on this, please. About the Udatta, Anudatta and Swarita swaras of Veda Parayanam. You want to take this question, Varshaji?
Actually, we are not living that much vibrant life that we'll get bad experience of it. Means we have lost many energy, dimensions, and it doesn't happen with us that something is damaging for us if we go wrong with swara, because we are living very raw level of vibrations now, on very jada level. So it doesn't happen with us. Yes. So if we live very vibrant life and it's very subtle on very subtle level, then it operates on very subtle level. So experiencing that difference,
that's very true.
Needs some special capacity, and which we have lost in our society just now. Some
we
people
we don't take care of the eclipse times anymore. So if we are living in such a way that we are callous to to as obvious as changes as shifting in moon or happenings of eclipse, if we, as Varsha is saying, that level of jadatva has already been set in our daily practices itself. These subtle effects, we can take care of them once we have taken care of these gross things.
If we put on the light itself, there some what we say bacteria are died. Means we regularly, if we put on the light, some positive bacteria are dying because of light. So we put on lights everywhere on the roads also. Everything is changed. So if I got this experience that in Krishi Parashara it is told that at what time you should moonlight, how it nourishes to the plant and how it goes and which nakshatra you're supposed to plant it, and everything is explained. But it is so on subtle level that we cannot experience that today. And we cannot assimilate in our today's
all these factors which are like bulldozers. Now we want to talk about effects which are simple breeze kind of effects. Then the comparison between it's totally dominated. These kinds of effect overpower all the other subtler effects on one's own physiology and mental well-being. So their negative results, Varsha, I guess what Tyagarajan is talking about, there are hundreds of other factors in our life which have much more stronger negative results compared to these kinds of negative results, I guess is what, the gist is. All right. Thank you so much for this wonderful session again, Varshaji. Thank you so much. And as I said, I'll try to put in all the graphics as relevant and put it up on YouTube on Monday, hopefully. And see you in the next session. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And Soumyaji says Dhruv is also, her son is also taking Vagyajnakulam lessons. Wonderful. And yes, I almost forgot. If you guys are interested in contacting Vagyajnakulam, I'll right now it's not there, but I'll leave a actionable button below, and you can also check in the videos on the Sanskrit channel in the descriptions, their numbers. Mandarji, if you can leave your number here in the chat box, and I'll anyways link the Facebook page and the number here, so you can get in touch with them. Thank you so much, Varshaji. Namaskaram.
Bahu dhanyawadaha.
Thank you so much. Namaskaram.